I can't breathe. 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 I can't breathe.
Racism has been existing for quite some time. How do you feel as a black man on what has transpired this week?
Well, as an African-American male, naturally, I'm bothered. I'm bothered to my core because yet once again, we as a group of individuals, we're dealing with this. But I'm bothered universally, where a bunch of issues have me bothered. So I'm just at a place where enough is enough and continually change has to be made. Well, I would say that there has to be a level of cohesiveness amongst all. It's time for us to come together and be a part of organizations that can literally establish and carry out policies, let our voices be heard, and not back down, and speak up for each other as well as protect our communities. Because at the end of the day, we have to explain to people and show people that we're about change, but first and foremost, we have to be the change that we want to see. And so to bring it together, I would say academians, clergy, judges, lawyers, especially those who look like us, it's time for us to be more vigilant and visible in environments that are impactful and not just settings that cause us to come across as aggressive or upset. Are we upset as a race? Absolutely. Are we angry? Absolutely. But we do have self-control. We are educated. We are well able to function. And in order to be able to make change, we have to stand together.
Hi, Vanessa, how are you?
I'm good. So introduce yourself to my readers.
My name's Ken Dorff, and I live in Sag Harbor. I'm a dad, have 2 kids there, both of African descent. That's part of the reason I feel so passionately about this. My son Darius and my daughter Layla. Just graduated from Pearson.
Nice. So, Ken, tell us a little bit more about your sign. Why do you feel it starts with schools?
Well, because racism begins in childhood, and it has to be cured before adulthood. It's too late if you're 23. And I think, Long Island is the most segregated suburb in the United States. It has the smallest and most segregated school districts in any suburb in the United States. This was intentional. Started with Levittown, which excluded blacks, the GI Bill. And most people here don't know the history. And we have to teach the history. We have the kids to know why they're here, the white kids, and the kids of color are somewhere else. When they know that, they see the injustice and they want to change it. So we have to start with the schools. The school systems out here do not do a good job of talking about racism. This is why Erase Racism actually is a program in New York State to bring people to the schools to talk about racism so we can begin the change. I think the change has to be the schools themselves. Mergers, getting people together, sharing services, but also talking to understanding the history of why Long Island is so segregated. So, sure. Anyway, so that's what I feel. That's why I'm carrying this sign.
I'm Vanessa, and what's your name?
I'm Frederick, and I live in Watermill.
I'm Marie, and I would live in Watermill also.
Oh, great. So, Maria, tell me a little bit about your sign.
I found this information on NPR's website, and this is a list of black people who have been killed by police since 2014. It's not a comprehensive list. It's just a start. I couldn't even fit anymore.
And you stopped because you didn't have a board big enough to write everybody down.
It's terrible. So tell me, what brings you here today? Why did you feel it was important for you to be part of this protest?
Because it's an American problem. I mean, yes, it's a black problem. Yes, it's a brown problem, but it's a white problem also. Now, of course, the power structure is different, but it's an American problem. And America, after 500 years, needs to resolve the problem that we've had for 500 years, which is oppression.
I feel like I want to support the black community. As a white person, it's just, it's unimaginable. So we want to be here to help, to support and show our support.
Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot!
I'm Marissa.
I'm Noah.
I'm Esme. I'm Owen.
Hi, nice to meet you. So what brings you here today? Why did you think it was important to bring your children to this protest?
We wanted to get involved as a family and stand up for what's right. We wanted to show our children that it's important to act and not just to talk about something. And we stand together with all of our friends here for everybody. Everyone's equal, and we really wanted to memorialize the moment and stand up for George Floyd and all the other people who are victims of senseless racism.
I'm Holly.
Hi, I'm Jose.
I'm Olivia. I'm Pascal.
Hi, nice to meet you. So what are some of the questions that your children are asking you about what they're seeing take place today?
My children have asked very, very thoughtful questions about equality, what's happening, why people are upset, and if this happened all of a sudden. And I think that what we'd like to show them is there's a long history of difficult things happening, but that at moments like that, we all come together and they have a voice.
Why did you feel it was important for you to bring your children to this protest?
We consider ourselves a part of this community, and we have a great support system of friends within the community, people we care about, and we just want to show up and support not only the issue, but all of the entire community and our friends.
Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Floyd! Say his name! George 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 Floyd!
A longtime resident in Sag Harbor. Mr. Pickens, you've seen some history during your lifetime, and I want to ask you, what is making this different than other activities and other protests that you have seen over the course of your lifetime?
Well, to begin with, this is a predominantly white people deciding to come out and protest what's going on in our country. So there are more white people than black people, and that's a unique feature. And here in Bridgehampton, which is largely a white community, I'm heartened and thrilled by what I see. Because if the white people don't speak up, nothing's going to change. They predominate the economy, the politics, and the history. So if they're with us, we've got a shot. If they're not, we don't have much to go for.
What resonated with you most impactfully regarding the murder of George Floyd?
Well, the sheer brutality of it. They snuffed out the life of a family man, of a son, of a citizen. For what cause? No cause, but hatred. I say, illuminate love, eliminate hatred. That's my motto.
Why did you come to this protest today?
Because I wanted to join fellow citizens with an answer to the bigotry, hatred, and perfidy of many people in this country, too many people in this country, who are cowards when it comes to race. So I'm here to join others in protest of all of that kind of attitude toward humanity.
And I want to ask you, how have you been discussing these actions and activities from the time of the murder of George Floyd to the protests that have happened afterwards? How do you discuss this with your loved ones and your children and your grandchildren and maybe your great-grandchildren?
Well, I have a granddaughter, and I've talked to her about it. She lives in Atlanta, which is a hotbed of activity too. My children are all grown, and they're with me. They share the desire to make the country fair and just, and that they're going to continue to do that. So we're all grown up, and we know what's going on in our country. And we're going to fight for the right to stand up for justice and freedom and equity.